welcome to my YouTube channel called Media for Scholars. Yes, this is going to be my introduction video and also my very first upload here on YouTube. Media for Scholars, what is it all about? Media for Scholars for me came as a necessity, as a need to create a platform where people could also watch intellectual videos all related to international relations, international war, international laws, everything that's on the global stage. During my days as an undergraduate, one thing that aided my learning process, aside reading books, was actually listening to audios or watching documentaries. And that is what I intend to do. This platform to actually drop ideas, my perspectives on various international related subjects. Yes, so it's going to be quite interesting. With that being said, let's go right into the video. Let's go straight to discuss these laws. But before I go into discussing these laws, it's important to know that some laws have religious backings or historical backings or cultural or customary backings. And in most cases, they could be backed up by the court-defined legal act, which is also known as the Constitution. So they might also seem very absurd or bizarre to foreigners or foreign passes, foreign minds, because it's not something that are norms to us. So it's normal for us to be surprised or fascinated by these laws. But yes, to the people that are indigenous in these settings or systems, they've adapted to it. And we can only learn to also accept these laws when we go to these territories. So, one of the very, very first laws I'm talking about, because I heard it from my mother when she traveled down to the country. And when she came back, she was telling us about it. And I was like, serious? Because back then there was this epidemic of chewing gum here in Nigeria. There was a time when everybody were chewing gum. I personally, I'm not a fan of chewing gum because it gives me a headache. And my mom too doesn't chew gum very much. I've never even seen my mom chewing gum, crazy enough. So yeah, when she came back and told me, "Oh, do you know you can't chew gums in this country?" and she was glad, unlike Nigeria, this and that, and I was like, "For real?" She was like, "Yeah, there were signboards about chewing gum and how much they do not appreciate chewing gums." Yes, in Singapore, there is a law that is very much against chewing gums, and this we will say probably it's classified under environmental laws because they are against chewing gum just to protect the environment. If you remember, in Nigeria, when you chew your gum, let's not even discuss that, but yeah. So the law type of chewing gum ban in Singapore is under the regulation of imports and public cleanliness. Like I said, it definitely has to do with your environment and keeping it clean. So for those of you that are a fan of chewing gum, definitely you cannot survive in Singapore with all your chewing gum. But that being said, there are certain cases where exceptions are made. In cases whereby it is medically required for you to chew a gum, of course they would not restrict you. The next one I actually came across, and I had to like make my own findings about it. It's not backed up by the Constitution. It is only backed up by a Swiss Tenants Association. So it's backed up by the Tenants Association in Switzerland. It's illegal, or it's considered noise pollution for you to flush your toilets after 10 p.m. But I saw another site where they wrote you cannot, some landlords put out regulations where you cannot flush your toilets to avoid noise pollution between 10 p.m. to 7 a.m. So, whatever you do, don't flush your toilet. If your landlord issues that kind of law, just make sure you abide to it to keep peace, maintain peace like you should actually. So, the next one is actually very interesting because I'm wondering why you would want to name your pet after a leader or a previous leader. It's quite absurd. It's like you deciding to name your pet after my president. No, that's not nice. So yeah, in France, it is illegal to name your pig Napoleon. So yes, there was a particular leader called Napoleon Bonaparte who played a pivotal role in French revolutionary history. So it's illegal for you to name your pet, your pig, Napoleon Bonaparte. And this was found on the French law archives of animal farm controversies. Because honestly, what makes you think it's actually chill for you to actually name your pet Your pig, in fact. Not just your pet, your pig. Well, it's chill though. So yeah, the next one is about Italy, and I personally agree with this law. It's actually illegal to eat near historical sites or churches or landmark areas, because I feel like in my country, due to our inability to actually consider that certain environmental factors will ruin this historical heritage or these historical things that we've built. We don't realize that, but I'm glad that other countries actually realize the need to actually preserve these sites, and that is why it is a ban to eat near these sites. It is under municipal regulation. That's Florence and Rome, specifically Florence and Rome. That's what we mean. It's illegal to eat in the historical site or around the historical sites near this church, near these areas, because it is considered disrespect. Another law that I think it's interesting or might be popular to an extent, especially for people that are fans of certain Asian countries like Japan and Korea, it's actually the Metabo law, which is actually specifically in this context, I'm talking about Japan. It is under the National Health Law of 2008. So there is a law that actually regulates your weight. You might not be employed into certain agencies, or you might not be able to work for the government if you're over a particular weight or below a particular weight, but majorly over a particular weight. And that one, okay, between let's say 40 to 74, they require waistline checks for adults, and it must be between 40 to 74. I don't know if it's centimeter or not. Yes, but this law actually is enforced to reduce obesity and prevent diabetes. Even though it has its own good side, but at the same time, for people that have this kind of weight gain that they cannot control, what do you want them to do? Yeah, another one in Africa here is Zimbabwe. It's actually illegal to insult your president. Seriously, jokingly, intentionally, unintentionally, consciously, unconsciously. And I love it. Because why are you insulting your president? Please, let's respect our presidents. Let's respect our leaders, no matter what, okay? So, yeah, I love the law. I support it 100%. Don't insult your president, okay? We're going to the bizarre state laws, especially in the United States. In the city of Arizona, this law is actually very bizarre. This is when we're talking about absurd. This is the absurd we're talking about. Because why is a donkey sleeping in the bathtub in the first place? Because now I'm seeing online that it's legal for a donkey to sleep in your bathtub. The first question is, why is a donkey in my bathtub? Well, yeah, that's one. In Georgia, okay, this one is I don't know why it's also illegal, but it's illegal to eat fried chicken with utensils in Gainesville. So I have to use my hands to eat fried chicken. Okay, okay. If we were in the year probably 2016, I would have been happy. But we're in 2025. You know why? Because in Saudi Arabia, there was a law that was against Valentine's Day, but it was actually abolished in 2018. I would have been happy because guess what? I would not feel the pressure of Valentine's Day because why? I'm happy. Well, now, Saudi Arabia has embraced Valentine's Day, the celebration and all of it. But yeah, just so you know, it was illegal to actually celebrate Valentine's Day in Saudi Arabia because it was believed to be against their laws, their beliefs, and their way of showing love. That is just like a part of so many of the most interesting and fascinating laws that you'll come across online, in person, when you go to other countries. So yeah, that being said, stay glued, stay tuned, endeavor to subscribe, like, share, and yeah, leave a comment so that I might be motivated to actually show my face, speak more, and make further research. So thank you and bye.